friends, it's Tracey from Tea Time with Tracey and Friends. And Boris! We just got done feeding our furry and feathered friends outside. It was supposed to be a storm day today, but seemed to taper off. The kids have gone to school, and we're going to start Winterween. So I'm quite excited about that. I've never taken part in it. It's done by Gabby Reeds. And she does like a summer ween and Halloween, I don't know, something, but Winterween, read horror books in winter, which I do anyways, but she has a theme, so we'll go over that when we go back in the house, because it's colder than a witch's titty out here. Alright friends, I had my coffee this morning. I got up the Irish crack of dawn. Well, it wasn't even sunny. I had to take my thing off. I got the fire going. Well, you can't see, but believe me, there's a wood fire. There's Boris. He's waiting for his breakfast, but I just wanted to tell you the books that I'm gonna do. Well, here's one of them. The other one is an audiobook. I wrote on, just a minute, let me get a little more situated. All right, this is a little better. I have you closer because I wanted you to see it, but there's the fire. Whew. My furnace is starting to rev up too. Anyways, this is one of the books, but I wrote down on a piece of this what the readathon is. Winterween 2025 is from January 10th, which is today, to the 16th. And there's some prompts if you want to do that. It's kind of like, it's haunted house theme this year, I guess. One of the prompts is read in the dark or at night, which that's fine. So you could read under your blankets with a flashlight, or if you have a Kindle, you can read it, or listen to an audiobook in the nighttime. I listen to audiobooks quite often, so, you know, I could do that easy. Read a horror or thriller. Read a book with a house on the cover or in the title. And then another one is read a horror book 5 years or older, published 5 years ago or older. And the last one is read a novella, manga, or an audiobook. Easy peasy. You can read however many books you want. So, one of the books that I have, I drew this in my January TBR. I have no idea what it's about. It has a house on the cover. I'm assuming it's a haunted house book. It's categorized as a horror. I'm thinking that it's a haunted house. I don't know, but this kind of fulfills two of the prompts. There's a house on the cover, and this was first published in 1981, so it's over 5 years old, so that knocks off two of those prompts. So I plan on reading this month anyway, so it kind of falls under that. Another book that I'm going to read, it's an audiobook, so it could do like do it at night or in the dark, and it's a novella. It's called Snow by Felix Maxwell. I think it's a free audio book on Audible, and it's like 4 hours and some. So I'm assuming that's a novella, like it's not very long. I have no idea what it's about, but that actually has a house or a little cabin on the cover too. So kind of both of them do this. If I get through both of these in that amount of time, 6 days, I could easily get through those two books probably. I might try something else, but as of right now, I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. I'm going to start this today, and I'll pop back in quick just to let you know if, you know, when I'm about a quarter of the way through. Yeah, I'm assuming it's a haunted house. Like, look at that big old house, right? Anyways, yeah, and this is a first edition too. Or at least that's what it says. The synopsis is here. I don't want to read it because I want it to be a surprise. There's like ocean on the cover. I bought this secondhand, like at Thrift Books, and it's her debut novel too. Paula Trotman. I'm not sure. Anyways, I'll check back in a bit. I gotta feed my baby boy Boris. Well, hey friends, haven't checked back in a bit. I've been reading this mother flipping book. I don't know if this is a haunted house. I read up until part 2 where is it? Just a second. Oh, no, that's part 3. I forgot to mark it. Anyways, part 2. Anyways, this book, holy schmoly. Triggers. Wow. It starts off of a young boy. He's just a child. I think he's like 12. He's laying in bed. His parents come knocking on his door, and they're living in this house. It's right on the cusp of the ocean. Like, there's a cliff there and everything. And he's dreading them coming to their room. And they apparently have been doing this his whole life. And they they make him come and play games with them in their marital bed, if you know what I'm saying. So yes, those kind of triggers. It doesn't get explicit about the description, but you know what's going on. This is like the opening to the story. Totally smacked me right in the friggin' face with it, because I had no idea any of that was in this book. So it might not be everybody's cup of tea. However, that's just the opening of the book. So the little boy, he's just little. He's obviously going to be messed up when he grows up. So that's like the, not epilogue, what's the beginning? Forward? I don't know, whatever. And then the story starts. The story starts with this little boy all grown up. He's an eligible bachelor. He's wealthy. He's successful. He lives in this house. He's sought after. And he seems like a normal guy. The female main character so far in this book, she's a young teenager, like probably 17, 18. She is very religious. She really wanted to be a nun. But her parents are on financial ruin, and they live in the high society, and they're determined to get her married off to a rich man so they don't have to, you know, be an embarrassment to their socialite friends. But she really doesn't want that. She wants to be religious, so you totally get that feeling from her. But being the child she is, she does what her parents ask of her. They go to like one of these social events, and it's the time of year where parents with daughters try to, you know, like introduce their young women to potential bachelors. Anyways, the main character, his name is Evan. He's one of the most eligible bachelors, like wealthy, distinguished, all that sort of thing. And she's not the most glamorous of girls, but he takes a shine to her because he thinks of her as like a pet project. And she would be beautiful if, you know, he could make her beautiful. He has the means, ways and means to make her beautiful. Sounds sweet, right? Well, anyways, her parents pretty much push her when he, you know, approaches them about seeing her again. They are all gushy and loving towards this man. Oh yes, she would be honored to go on a date and see you, and blah 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 blah. Her parents are awful. Anyways, long story short, they get together, they get married, everything seems hunky-dory. He courts her and they go on, you know, he buys her gifts and stuff. The night of their marital consummation, wow, it goes from nice and cozy to extreme. Again, not explicit description, but he's calling her every name of the book and putting her down. And she is a very religious young woman. She's probably like 17, 18. And she's like, oh, Evan, I promise I'll be the best wife that you've ever asked for. I pray to God to, you know, cleanse me of any sins I've done, so I will be a worthy wife for you, and blah, 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 blah. Like, how dare he? She has stretch marks, because she had been assaulted when she was younger, and things resulted of that. And he wasn't aware of that, so he feels she's tarnished instead of this virginal person. And abuse. It skips ahead a few years. She ends up having 4 children by the age of 24, and he makes her not have any medication, or not allowed to bottle feed, not allowed to have nannies, not allowed anything like that. Terrible, terrible, terrible. It skips from when she's like a teenager up until she's like in her 30s. This is like the whole part 1. So even her children don't treat her well because the father dotes on the children so much. They just think he's perfect. And since he picks at the mom, they pick at the mom, even though the mom loves her children fiercely. And she's trying to protect them from her husband because there's rumors of him enjoying young women. Just absolutely not what I was thinking this book was going to be. The first part ends off. There's a giant storm. The kids are sent home. This takes place, the first part, back in the 30s, 1938. This is way back. Giant storm. And then part 2 looks like it opens up with news reports of the father killed his wife and his 4 children. It was a massacre, a bloodbath, and that's as far as I got. So maybe it is a haunted house, but the first part was SA to the extreme. Again, not explicit description, but whew. Right from the first couple of pages, I just was not expecting that. So this is my guess. I'm just guessing. There was a horrible tragedy. Everybody was massacred. Either the mother, her, I forget what the hell her name is, killed everybody, went insane, because I would too. He really put her through the ringer and made everybody in society think she was crazy, and absolute horrible spousal abuse. But on the outside, they looked like the perfect family. She either snapped and went crazy and killed everybody, or he had said, before you take my children away, I will kill them before you even try to do that. He either killed everybody, or there's a haunting in the house, or the house is haunted now from the 1938 or whatever. So maybe it fast forwards in the future. I mean, this book was published in 1981, so maybe it fast forward to the 70s or something. There's a new family coming in, and it's haunted from that horrible family. I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go, because this is not what I thought at all. Anyways, I just wanted to fill you in. This is taking too long. I will probably finish this book today. Honestly, I am intrigued and disturbed. This is a very disturbing book. Disturb Not the Dream. I read a lot of disturbing book, but this is, I didn't think this was going to be a disturbing book. I thought this was going to be a haunting book. Very, very incestuous, rape, all that stuff. Disturbing. Just be warned, if you ever want to do this. I'm enjoying it in the sense that it's giving me that shock value, because I was not expecting that. It's traumatic, it's crazy, but I'm going to continue on. So I just wanted to check in. I'll let you know after a bit more. All right, I'm going into part 4 now. So it starts talking about a whole new family. There's a doctor, he's a psychiatrist, he's, very successful. He's married. They have 4 children. It showed the point of view from the children at one point, and oh, my phone's ringing, just a minute. Oh, okay, that was my father. Anyways, yeah, this book, the second part is following another family, psychiatrist, successful psychiatrist, and he has a partner. They want to open a new shop, but the psychiatrist guy, whatever his name is, is telling his wife we'll probably have to cut back on some financial things, and you know, she's not used to that, so she gave him a piece of her mind to say, how dare you make these decisions without consulting me too? I'm not chopped liver, blah blah blah, which, you know, I get it. Anyways, he's head over heels in love with his wife. And I was talking about the children. Yeah, the two oldest children. One is like later teens, like, I don't know, 18, something like that. And then there's the oldest one is a girl. The second oldest is a boy who's probably like 16, and then younger ones. And yeah, they kind of have a little bit of inappropriateness, not to that degree I mentioned earlier, but it's like, what the heck, you know? Anyways, the parents, the psychiatrist and his wife is like a socialite that goes to art fundraisers, you know, like all those sort of things. He's in love with his wife, and he wants to win over his wife to try to persuade her to be on board with him opening a special clinic with his partner, but he needs to win her back over. So he goes and rents a place for the summer, for the season, which turns out to be this house in the Hamptons. This is in the Hamptons. He finds out about the tragedy about it, but the house is so charming. He doesn't bother telling his wife about it. And they're just there from like spring until September. They're well moneyed, so they can afford it, and they decide to hire I would say a nanny, or, you know, somebody to come and help with the children, the younger children. Anyways, the young person that they hire, her name is Amy, and she comes from a poor family. She's extremely intelligent. Her mother, it goes into her, like, Amy's mother is very abused by her husband, and Amy has younger siblings and stuff, but her mother really wants her oldest daughter to get up and out while she has the opportunity. She has the opportunity because she responded to the ad about this nanny position, and it's $50 a week, and you know, 1.5 days off, and it's live-in, and you know, things like that. So she escapes, goes in this position. The thing is, once the family first go to this house, the husband's all excited. Oh, telling his wife, oh, you're going to love it. It's beautiful. It's charming. It's the best thing ever. Cutest thing since sliced bread. You're going to love it. And she does. They pull into the driveway, and it's a beautiful house. She's excited. Her kids are excited. Amy's excited just because she's never experienced anything like this. She plays off like she's, you know, whatever, but she has like one bag of clothes, whereas the family's kids have bags and bags of clothes. You know what I mean? Like, it's the dynamics are quite something. Anyways, when the wife walks into the house, she was like, there's something evil. I feel something off about this place, but she still really likes it. And that's where I stopped reading, because the husband said, oh, I didn't tell her. Like, this is his internal monologue. I didn't tell her about the tragedy that happened here years and years ago. So she doesn't know about that. So, you know, maybe it is a haunting. It just hasn't got that far. I don't know if the rest of the book is following this family. But they just arrived to this summer home, and the husband's the only one that knows about this terrible tragedy that happened years and years ago. Nobody else knows about it in the family. Amy doesn't know about it. The kids don't know about it. The wife doesn't know about it. So maybe there's something about this place. The cellar that's in this house, the door is always locked because the stairs are steep. There's a key to open it, and they open it, and it's just black down there. There's no electricity. You'd have to go down with a lantern. Like, it's just a big old creepy beautiful house in the Hamptons, right oceanside. So yeah, I still got quite a bit to read, but it's only 10:15 in the morning. So I'm not getting much done around here. I did, however, for you to know, I'm going to make tacos for supper for my children.
But I'll get to that when I get to that. Oh my God, now this Amy nanny is wanting to lose her V card with the doctor. This book is total surprises. Jeepers.
Ooh, all right, friends, I have not checked back. Today is the 12th. Check back in regards to my reading for Winterween. I just got in the house from feeding my furry feathered friends. Oh, something's hissing in my stove. The wood stove's going. It's winter, it's cold, it's whatever. And Boris and I went for a walk, my dog, and I just made my coffee. There. It's my first whiff off of it. Anyways, I think I left off when I was talking about this book. Oh my God. I finished this book the same day. I fell ass over tea kettle, and I really did finish this over the course of the day. It is a horror. There is some supernatural, like specters, ghosts, a little bit, but that's not the horrific part. There's horrific parts in here, so I forget. Really, I haven't even looked back at what I filmed. I think when I stopped talking, it was about this Amy that was hired as a nanny to go to this family. And anyways, they go to the big fancy house in the Hamptons, and this is like in the 70s or whatever. And she does a really good job with the kids. The family actually has a teenage daughter who's 16, 17. And a boy that's right around the same age. And then a little girl. She's in charge of the little girl, who's probably 7. And they go to the beach. They do all the family things and whatnot. The father has to go into town sometimes because that's where his office is. He's a psychiatrist. And him and his buddy want to start up this clinic, and his wife is against it, but he's hoping to sway her into going along with it. Anyways, along the way, yes, Amy decides that she wants to, lose her V card to the husband. I forget what his name is. I'm terrible like that. I think one of my kids are coming downstairs. Anyways, that happens. And just a minute, because this is not appropriate to talk about with kids. All right, so yes, they end up, she makes an excuse that she had to go visit her auntie because her mother, who is also in an extremely abusive relationship, had called her to say that she's not hearing from, she thinks her aunt's sick and she needs somebody to go and check on her and stuff. So that was all a ruse. You don't know that until after, but she ends up going into the townhouse where the husband stays during the week because, like I said, his office is in town, and feigns innocence. Oh, can I just wait here for my, to hear from my auntie? They end up doing the nasty, and it goes forward from there. They end up doing that several times in secret, and eventually the teenage kids get wind of it. The teenage kids, though, are a whole nother level, really. Let's just talk about them for a second. They end up finding this group of, the popular kids, and they go to this party, and it's with all the in people. Turns out this party is a freak fest, and the two brother and sister, they were kind of, they were intoxicated, and they, if they go to these kind of parties, they're not allowed to not come to the next one because they film it, and they'll send, the people that do these parties will send it to the parents, and these families are all wealthy, and it would be a scandal. Anyways, the brother and sister continue to, and anyways, they get wind of their father having an affair with Amy, the nanny. The mom is completely oblivious to it, and they end up making the nanny participate with the son, and she really doesn't want to. And that's all I'll talk about, that kind of stuff. The other part of the story, this house is located close to a nunnery, like where there's nuns and stuff. And this creepy old nun walks by, who's older in life. She's probably 50 something. She walks with a limp. She has a gnarly foot. And the husband and the wife had been seeing strange things in the house, and they're chopping it up to, you know, being tired and, you know, stressed and stuff. But eventually one incident happens, and they go into the daughter's bedroom because she screams, the young daughter, and there's blood on her pillow. The daughter is not cut or anything. There's things like that. There's an incident of seeing somebody in the mirror. Anyways, the husband knows the history of this house, and he confides in his partner, the man partner, there might be more to this house than just being stressed or tired. And they're doctors, so they're trying to rule out everything else. And yeah, it turns out there's a big old messy history with the original people of this story that I talked about, the young, naive, religious young woman that married the big successful guy that treated her like absolute garbage, dog throw up, you know what I mean, like absolute terror. There's a history, and it all links back to what happened kind of from there to what's happening now. And I don't want to spoil it. I know this is an old book. It's 2 days out from since I've read it, and I really enjoyed it. But it was very disturbing, and it's totally not what I thought it was going to be. It's not going to be for everyone whatsoever. The explicit content isn't that explicit, but the knowing of what's happening is just as disturbing. So I finished that book. I would recommend it if you're okay with disturbing. Extremely disturbing. This is extremely disturbing. And I love that it's from a woman horror author. Like, there's not as many women horror authors. And I just love that this book made me feel so ugh. And it was this lady, you know what I mean? She did that. But it's just a story, and it's okay. It's just a story. It's not warping me or anything. But, yeah, that fulfilled that prompt. Okay. Another audiobook that I listened to was that, I think I said in my video, Felix Maxwell. It's Flint Maxwell. And it was that audiobook that was 4 hours and some. And I finished that in a day. It was not what I was expecting at all. I really enjoyed it. And it turns out that's a freaking first of a series. This follows 3 men. They're probably in their 30s. They've known each other forever, since they were kids at this point in their life. One of them is a retired firefighter because he had a traumatic event of not being able to rescue a boy, and the boy died in front of him. One of the men are a soldier that got injured, so he has a disability now, like he has crutches, I think. And then another one is a father. He got married. He has, I think, twin girls. But they do this every year, go away. They were promised each other they wouldn't drift apart like so many people do. Anyways, they rent this cottage for July 4th. I had no idea this took place in summer because it's a snowy cottage. July 4th. So it's not a long book, so I'm not going to give a whole bunch away. They get out there, they get settled, they're out there having a campfire and stuff. The neighbors come over, and it's an older man in his 50s and his teenage son, and said, "Do you guys want to come over for s'mores?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." They go over, they meet the family, they're very nice. They also have a daughter that's in their late 20s, so, you know. And they eventually go back home. I'm like fast forwarding this because they had a really good time. One of the men, you know, took a shine to the daughter. She was just finishing out nursing school. I mean, they didn't do anything or just talk, just thought she was pretty and stuff. But I'm assuming. Anyways, one of the friends wakes up the other two in the middle of the night because it's snowing. It's snowing the 4th of July weekend. And it's not just snowing, it's snowing hard, like blizzard snowing. And, of course, they think it's, oh, this is strange. This is funny. Like, we're known to have strange weather, but it's never been like this. Because it was just such a beautiful day when they were awake. And anyways, after a while, the son and the daughter run over to the neighboring cottage, their cottage, and said, our dad just killed our mom. And he's going crazy. And yeah, I'm not going to say too much. I need to stop talking because I want to talk all about it. I really enjoyed it, and I probably will continue with the series. Turns out they see shadowy figures outside, and like one of them would be the little boy that the firefighter couldn't save, and one of them would be some traumatic history from their past, childhood past, or things like that. And yeah, it's just, I was not expecting that at all. I totally, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I will absolutely continue with this series. I love series like that. Yeah, so they got to survive. They got to survive. The next day, there's still snow everywhere, but it's not snowing. But they are totally not equipped for this type of snow in July. Like, so they gotta figure that out. And what happens at the night? Like, there's still shadowy figures, and they only have so much food, and there's a little light way across the lake. What is that? You know, do they dare? That sort of thing. Anyways, thoroughly enjoyed. Would really recommend. And I'm glad I read it. The last one, I finished this last night. I did not like it. I finished it because I'm an idiot, but I finished it. And I believe I told you this is about like a carload of, well, it's a husband and wife on the brink of divorce and their friend. And there was a couple other people too. They end up getting a flat tire and they have to go to this house to, it's like a bed and breakfast or, you know, something like that. They get there and they're hillbillies. I'm a hillbilly. I'm a proud hillbilly. Okay. But these guys, the family is crazy. They are crazy. And once they go in the house, not only are the family stereotypically bumpkiny, but they're mean and they're nasty. I give them that. But the way that these characters talked to these people right off the bat, right off jump, I didn't care for that a whole lot. Anyways, this is kind of a weird house. You go in the house and it changes. It turns out this whole book is supposed to be a lesson in facing your guilt and fear. I don't even really want to talk about it. I read about half of it and then I switched. I looked on Everend and it was a free audiobook, so I finished it, the rest on audio. Face your guilt and shame that you have and the importance of turning to Jesus. And, you know, I'm not trying to shame anybody about that, but that's not what this book, that's not why I bought this book. I bought it because it looked like it was a haunted house. I'm not going to talk more about it because I don't really like it. And, I don't know. I'd read one Ted Dekker book and I did like it. I mean, it's not like, oh, I love it, I'm gonna whatever. I do have a couple other Ted Dekker books and I will give them a try. But this one I will give away. I love the cover though. It's beautiful. I put it on one of my readathon bingo thing, cover by. Yeah, I bought it because I think it's a cool cover. Yeah, there's some gross stuff in it. Some inappropriate stuff. But it just kept going on and on and on and on and dull and lame. And I did not like it at all. And I regret reading it. But it did follow a prompt. I did read it off of my shelves. And it will find a new home. Because I'm sure somebody will like it. Somebody will. But not me. So, those are the 3 books that I've read so far. I'm going to be working on the Exorcist house. I think when I did my Winterween TBR, I kept saying the September house. I don't have that book. I have the Exorcist House by Nick Roberts. And it's one of the audiobooks that I want to read. And that's what I'm going to be working on now. But I want to end this vlog because I want to vlog the rest. I think I have 2 books left. The Exorcist House and that Hash Black the Mirror ebook. Which, this is my Kindle. I have a composition book case because I think it's cool. I'm a nerd. It's my emotional support Kindle. So, anyways, I'm having a blast doing this Winterween and just focusing on these books this week. And it's almost done. Well, it goes to the 16th. So if I can squeeze in 1 or 2 more books, maybe I will. But anyways, I'm going to finish this coffee and I'm going to say peace, love, and happiness today and every single day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so choose. But if not, that's okay too. I still love you. I still want all the happiness in the world for each and every one of you out there. I certainly do. I really, really honest and truly do. Yes, I do. So, okay, guys, with that, I'm going to say have a good night or have a good morning. And I will see you sometime this Winterween. Bye. Boink.